Allow me to present to you the A4Tech KBS 20MU. This was my favorite keyboard of all time. You may look at it at its cheap 800 by 600 video review and think to yourself, really, that was the best keyboard you ever used. That was your dream keyboard, a keyboard that you used for 5 years writing tens of thousands of words a day until the first one broke and you bought a second one because it's $9. Who cares if you break 5 of them a year? Really, that's what you got. Man, have you heard of mechanical keyboards? Well, yes. This was the keyboard that I used for the most amount of time. Well, actually, no, technically, the keyboard I used for the most amount of time was a Chicone keyboard with those sleep and hibernate buttons on top that would always constantly get pressed by accident. But I wouldn't say I was in love with that keyboard. This one, however, this was magnificent. And it was so for one very, very important reason. You see that knob over there at the top? Yeah, that's an awesome feature. Also has media controls and that anti-wrist strain thing that I'm not even sure works. The office keys, I couldn't really give a toss about them. They were kind of useless. They weren't even office keys, they were back forward and stuff like that. Never really had a use for them, and you couldn't even easily rebind them, sadly. But this is the keyboard that I really liked. It's not just that it had the dial there and the lights, the scroll lock, the num lock, the lock, the everything in the middle, easily viewable. But what probably you've seen already in this video is that on the sides it had USB and audio connectors. I could plug in my headphones into the keyboard because the keyboard had a pass-through. I could connect both my speakers and my headphones at the same time. And of course, USB was very useful in case I wanted to add something like a USB key, a flash drive, joystick, an extra mouse, charge my phone, anything, everything. And again, this thing cost $9. I still have it. It's in the other room. It's being used on a second computer, but it hasn't aged well because it's a plunger-based keyboard. It's a membrane keyboard. And it has dulled with age, with wear and tear, and my nephew and my dad hammering at it because they don't know how to type properly. Since we started this YouTube channel, we have had the opportunity to review quite a few keyboards. A lot of them mechanical. Actually, I think all of them were mechanical in nature. And while some of them were superb in design and ideas, the first one we had, the Genius one, that was a nice keyboard. I mean, it had the same dial with the volume and stuff, but it used horrible switches. And my current keyboard, the Kale Magic Eagle thing that I remember his name. It's a nice keyboard with macro support if I actually remember what keys it's on, and nice lighting if I remember what keys that's on. And oh yeah, the same horrible brown switches that are... Kale brown switches are a disaster. Or at least they used to be. I haven't gotten a keyboard that's used them since this one. This was the last one I got. So maybe they've improved since then, because the Kale green switches, the low profile ones, those worked amazingly. And so far Narcotic has not complained that the keyboard broke down. So I'm guessing they still work. And also we got a bunch of keyboards that were, I think they were the same keyboard. Like, let's face it, a bunch of the keyboards we reviewed were technically kind of the same. They use the exact same layout. Sometimes even the buttons look the same. They had the exact same functions. The switches may differ, but that's it. They have no poetry to them, no refinement, no sort of charm. Also a limited usage as something bigger than just a simple typing or gaming keyboard. In the show, I'm going to try and build a better one. I'm going to try and assemble a keyboard that is, simply put, magnificent. A keyboard that I can use for ages and ages, for gaming, for video editing, for audio editing, for pretty much anything that you can imagine, because it is a keyboard designed to be great. Now, the picture we're seeing on the background, actually it's a video because I can move the mouse on it, that is a DOS keyboard. That's probably, DOS keyboard. It's a DOS keyboard. It's the keyboard. Man, they chose a strange name for it. But anyway, it's one of their later models. It's I actually think this one had some issues because it's the cloud thing that has notifications on the RGB, and that didn't really work all that well. But anyway, I'm interested more in the shape and the way it looks. Look, it's simple. It's got this cool thing here that it's got a design, so it looks pretty. It looks very, very pretty, and it's got the knob. Let's face it, this knob, this dial, look at how beautiful it is. Every keyboard should have one of these, and by coincidence, hint, 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 have released a keyboard that does have one of these. It's not on sale in, well, outside of China or Taiwan or wherever they are actually, but it may come to Amazon one day, and who knows, maybe they'll give us a review sample. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Just saying. Anyway, this keyboard is the basis for the project. Now, I'm not going to actually build the keyboard because I don't have this, and the components in it, but this is more of a thought exercise, if you will. An exercise in designing a keyboard that is nice and functional and useful and really works well. So let's begin by adding something very, very important, and that is macro keys. Macro keys are quite useful, and the only picture of some macro keys that I had on hand was from this Logitech thing that I found on the web, the that's on the right button, the K95 RGB. So let's just take this block of keys, actually just this central block, I don't need the rest, bam, and paste it onto here. Now I may need to scale these so they will actually fit the other ones, but in essence, let's say something like this. Oh, I just did it. Oh, and did it again. Ah, come on. Okay, get back. Let's scale this. Keep pressing shift for it to not scale on the wrong axis, but I forget that. And I did it again. Yeah, this isn't going well. Paint is not my forte. It's the new paint. It's not as paint as it used to be. But anyway, a block of keys like right around here. A block of, maybe shrink them down a bit more. Yeah, I think they're kind of the correct size. So they would be somewhere around here, I would say, with enough spacing between the escape key and the rest, so it wouldn't be they wouldn't be causing any problems. I actually think they're off center a bit. Yeah, and shrink them down to about this. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, let's take all of this and move it a bit this side because we have more work to do. It's not just adding macros. Macros are useful. Macros are useful no matter what you do. If you do gaming, you may need a macro to, I don't know, launch Discord or switch to a Discord channel. Actually, can you actually do that? Can you bind switching to a Discord channel in a macro? That would be quite useful. Or maybe you can have those auto hotkeys things that you can, that scripting thing that Terran from Linus Tech Tips keeps using. He's got an entire keyboard of stuff that he uses for video editing, like a second keyboard to use for video editing. And these macros, yeah, you can use these for shortcuts to your video editing, to your audio editing, to your paint programs, to all your stuff. It'll be something quite useful to have around. Really useful. And now, yeah, I know that there's 18 of them. 18 may be a bit overkill. I mean, realistically, if you're just doing gaming, you're not going to use 18, so you can probably shave a couple of them off if you want to. Personally, I don't want to, so I'm going to leave them as that. And now comes the very, very, very important bit. What do you add to this keyboard to make it even better? Well, for one, you probably need to add more keyboard, like get the frame better. And I actually should have done this, the extension, I should have done it earlier, because now it doesn't really fit as well, but you get the idea of what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, definitely should have added the extra layer before it. But anyway, it's something like this. Let's stretch this out because it doesn't matter because it's mostly all black. And one more, I guess. Yeah, it's sort of kind of fits. Not really, but it's in the general direction of what it's supposed to be. Moving it there and stretch it. See, now it looks more integrated, but it's sort of incomplete, don't you think? It's like something's missing. Well, I know what's missing. I know exactly what will make this keyboard even better. What will make it work even more amazingly well. It's this. Well, I should probably, can I actually, yeah, rotate this by horizontal. Bam. Yeah, I'm gonna actually delete the extraneous stuff. This doesn't need to be here. Actually, I'm gonna put it back in the void and delete them from here. Maybe wondering, why are you putting a second knob on it? It's crazy. The second knob doesn't do anything. It's crazy. You're insane. I also forgot that paint doesn't work like this. Should probably switch to something else. Doesn't have transparency. Yeah, I think I'm in the wrong paint. But anyway, can I edit? Can I switch this to Paint 3? I'm gonna save this and edit in Paint 3D, and hopefully it won't explode. Oh my god, it works. Okay, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Come on, Paint 3D. That's not it. Where's the... oh god, where's not the crop? Where's the magic select? Okay. That's not what it does. It just move it up. Okay, next. Okay, it actually selected it. Okay. Done. And we're gonna move that here, I guess. Somewhere around here, let's say. Yeah, this isn't necessarily the greatest job I've ever done in terms of designing a keyboard, but there. 2 knobs, and they're kind of at the same level. Now, again, you may be wondering, why the hell are you putting 2 knobs on this thing? What do you want? Do you want to control 2 channels of audio at the same time? No. Last year, Microsoft announced something amazing, something called the Surface Dial. And then sadly forgot about it because there's no new edition of the Surface Dial. But the Surface Dial is something that I'm very interested in seeing evolve, because the Surface Dial lets you move things by using a dial, and there is a Logitech keyboard that does have the dial functionality in it. The keyboard itself kind of looks like crap compared to this bizarre Frankenstein creation, but it does have the dial, and the dial can interface with software. For example, the dial can add back the jog wheel that they removed from Adobe Premiere, the absolute jackasses that they are. Because why wouldn't they have removed it? I mean, you can always buy a separate control surface that costs hundreds and thousands of dollars. Why would you have it there in software and let people use it to easily and precisely scrub through timelines? So, with this, you could probably bind that back into in Premiere into a hardware control system, and it could also be used in pretty much anything else that requires scrubbing, like fine detail scrubbing. I couldn't do it sadly with the volume knob that was on my other keyboard. It didn't have that kind of interactivity with the knob, though it did initiate the bi-functioning Counter-Strike Go for some reason. I'm not sure why it used to do that, but it did. Again, I'm not sure why. But this one, if this can act like a Surface Dial, then it will save me so many headaches. And you can even use it in games, I guess, for well, if games have command wheels, I guess. Are command wheels still a thing in games? I'm not even sure at this point. But this could work. So 2 wheels, this for volume, because it's just practical to have a volume knob like right here and use it to adjust volume. And this one, very important, this one needs to be next to the macro keys, not on this side. Because if it's on this side, then it's kind of horrible. Actually, that's set to zoom, it seems. It would be, if it was on this side, it would be kind of horrible to actually use it, because you constantly have to take your hand off the mouse to use it. But on this side, where the macros are, no issue. It would just work by default. It would be amazing. And of course, because this would be a nifty little keyboard, let's say that on where's the pen? Marker. Okay, let's say that on let's make it blue. Let's say that on this side, it's got 2 USBs, maybe USB 3.0. Maybe they're stacked one on top of each other instead of, like one next to each other. Maybe actually there's 4 of them. Maybe there's a USB hub in here. A USB hub that lets you plug in things. Maybe there's a... I guess not, maybe not exactly here, but in the all the extra area that I left open down here. Maybe somewhere down here there's a memory card reader. You know, because if you're gonna use this keyboard, you probably get it for work, like for video editing, for photo editing, and you're probably gonna need a card reader like stuffed in here, which is gonna be useful. Like have a card reader here. Let's make it red and horrible looking because we can. It's my show. I decide how horrible it gets to look. So this would be the big one, and this would be the smaller one, I guess, in the USB keys. And because it's still made to be, you know, like a gaming style keyboard, it would have the flashing lights and the RGBs and the beautiful things and the well, probably remove this one because who needs it? We don't need a sleep button on the keyboard. Actually, I think this is tied to their cloud thing, so I don't think we'll need that either. Probably, unless it's a mute key. Yeah, if it's a mute key, we may want to leave it on. Okay, now it could also use some headphone ability. So get the headphone jack and plug it in like right here, maybe. Or plug it in somewhere around there, probably. I don't know. Down the bottom, I guess, or up there. You know, headphone jacks for headphones and microphones, somewhere around there. This is the kind of keyboard that people don't make because it's made for crazy people. It's made for crazy people that can usually afford to get their own control surfaces that do all kinds of crazy crap. But those things tend to cost a lot and take up very valuable space on your desk. Whereas this one, yeah, it would be like a third of a keyboard longer than it needs to. Well, yeah, a quarter of a keyboard longer than it needs to be, but it's still... it would be still quite easy, quite reachable, quite easy to use on a single desk, and you wouldn't need to get a second keyboard just to do the stuff. Now, this looks like a complete atrocious piece of garbage, but I did make one. Yeah, this is how it was initially supposed to look like. I made this one for the CMate article that I'm sort of remaking here with this occasion. So, like, see, it's. Let's actually copy this. Can I paste it? Yeah. See, it's almost the same thing, right? It's almost the same thing. And magic selected. Okay. Done. Is it done? Oh my god, it's working so hard for it. Oh, and I completely screwed over the previous picture. Oh, that was bad. Control Z. Wow. Paint 3D is not all that advanced, but hey, it's got the thing. But anyway, oh yeah, this, yeah, okay, now it works. Now it works. So let's paste it in. Let's magic selected. Next. Done. I should probably not select the fill in background then. Okay, let's try this again. Make selection. Do not autofill in background. Okay. So now it sort of works, I guess. You sort of understand where I'm coming from with this. I think I should use a different keyboard with this design because it's got different colors. But this is my vision for a keyboard. This is how I would want it to look like. And I should probably go back to the other one because this one looks like kind of crap. No, not this one, not you. Where's the other one? Yeah, this one. I mean, just look at it. It's so elegant. It's so fabulous. And I sent this to Dot's Keyboard almost a year ago. So if this does show up on the market sometime in the future, I hope I'm gonna have the chance to buy one or get a review copy because I mean, just look at it. This would solve so many problems. This would be so easy to use. This would be a keyboard for people that work for a living. A keyboard for people that really do not want to get a control surface and just want a keyboard that works. Especially if this is again the Microsoft Dial thing. Microsoft Dial was an amazing concept. It's actually something that has been around in the market for a while. There have been like $100 knobs that you can get. Some of them are USB, some of them work by Bluetooth. A bunch of them are Apple only. But you know, we may get to a point in the future where we can actually use such technology normally, without fear that we're going to have to buy control surfaces to add back the jog wheel for Premiere Pro. No, really, the jog wheel being removed is the greatest crime ever committed. well, no, Adobe did commit a bunch of other crimes. And there was the credit card thing and the account thing. I think I probably should have changed my password back then too. But anyway, it's not a problem anymore. Anyway, this is my dream for a keyboard. For an ideal keyboard that's good for gaming, that's good for work, that's good for pretty much anything. If you got your own suggestions for this kind of keyboard, please let me know, because I'm curious to see what we can brainstorm together, and maybe perhaps, I don't know, okay, could we make a Kickstarter for this? Could we kickstart our own keyboard? Yeah, that would work. I could, with zero experience when it comes to dealing with the factories that actually make this stuff, kickstart a project with insufficient money and say to myself, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. And then when it succeeds, I realize, oh my god, I'm so out of my element. I am going to probably waste all the money just trying to find the right factory and make a bunch of duds that never work, and haven't really thought out how exactly this is going to work and this is going to work and how it ties all in and what's the software that's going to run in it and all this stuff. Wow. Okay, so we're not going to do a Kickstarter unless I can find somebody to actually design the keyboard properly, like internally, you know. And it's going to be a mechanical one. Like, I like my plunger that I use, but this is probably going to be mechanical. Kind of switches, I would say. Well, I'm still kind of a fan of blue ones because they have the tactile, tacky feel to it. And yeah, that might not be the fastest for gaming, but I guess we could use red switches for that one. Red seems to be quite nice and workable browns, I guess, if they're not kale, maybe, or blacks. We'll see. This probably isn't going to go past the idea of this video in that article that I wrote like almost last year. Actually, it was this year, at the beginning of this year. Anyway, this is my dream keyboard. Hopefully, somebody's going to make it one day. Hopefully. I'd make a video about my dream mouse as well, but I think we're going to be here for age. Oh, I'm going to do that next year. Yeah, next year I'm gonna design my dream mouse. And lo, we shall see how a real mouse looks. Goodbye, everybody.